What's up, guys? Ty back again, and The Walking Dead Season 7 premiered, and I just need to talk about it. This episode, titled The Day Will Come When You Won't Be, is my favorite episode of The Walking Dead ever. Now, I've said that with Too Far Gone was my favorite episode ever until this. I just gotta say right now, this episode gets a perfect 10 out of 10. And from here on out, there will be spoilers. We've been waiting all summer long for who Negan killed, and it was finally revealed. So I'm going to give you spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, you've been warned, 1. Rip to Abraham and Glenn. It was just absolutely sickening seeing Glenn, like our brother Glenn, getting beat like that. I mean, words can't describe how intense that scene was when they got Abraham. You know, they hit him, he splits, and actually he went out with a great line, "Suck my nuts." Fantastic line from Abraham, as always. I'm really glad that he got a line out when he went. But, man, when he hit Glenn, I'm getting sick thinking about it. I'm so upset because Glenn is one of my favorite characters. He's one of everyone's favorite character. I know a lot of people think he is their favorite character, and that's fine. And he's been with us since episode 2 of The Walking Dead, and the end of episode 1, you hear his voice, and it just made me absolutely sick to see him go down that way. I don't know, like, killer performances all around from all the cast, as always. Andrew Lincoln as Rick, groveling. Actually, it was sick and embarrassing in a way, watching Negan just tear Rick up, man. So we'll start from the beginning. It doesn't show at first who Negan killed. If you saw the sneak peek, it actually starts exactly. The first few minutes of The Walking Dead is the sneak peek, and I'm kind of surprised that they did it that way. Honestly, I thought that would be after the fact, but I understand why they did it, and I actually think it made for a more emotionally charged, more intense episode. Because, we've been waiting all summer long, and if they just would have cut to the first swing to Abraham, pop, it would have been too much. I think it wouldn't have been, I don't know, they built it up even more, and that was the thing that really got me. They built it up even more, and holy cow, man, what a roller coaster ride this episode was. If you guys looked at some of the leaked spoiler scripts, you know that Negan does take Rick on in the RV through a roller coaster ride, essentially, showing him who's boss. You said you're gonna kill me, so I gotta show you who's boss. So he's basically, I'm not gonna go into super detail. He throws his hatchet out into the walker and says, "Go get my hatchet," and Rick does. And then Rick crawls on top and sees that guy that Negan's group hung from the end of last season. God, he starts to have his flashbacks, and you see Abraham go down, and then you see Daryl interfere after Negan is just poking Rosita's buttons. I mean, showing her the blood and finding out that they were together and stuff, just poking Rosita's buttons. Daryl loses it. Of course he would. He loves the whole group. He's so committed to this whole group. It's nuts. And then because of that, there's some repercussions, and he takes Glenn out. And man, if you guys have read The Walking Dead issue 100, The Death of Glenn, from the comics by Negan, it is so similar. It's just absolutely nuts. I cannot believe they showed his eye. His eye was coming out of his skull, and oh god, this stuff usually doesn't get me, but I think it's just because it's Glenn that it is. And his eye came out of his skull, and his head kind of split a little bit. It looked just like the comic book panel. And Actually, funny side story, when I read The Walking Dead issue 100, I literally closed uh, I was reading it digitally actually, so I turned my device off and put it away because and I cried a little bit. Honestly, I'm man enough to admit it. I teared up, and I was so emotionally damaged, distraught, I guess, from it. I didn't know how to feel, and it really affected me. And yeah, and it was the same with this. A little. See if I can word this right. I'm a little upset that they picked Glenn simply because I've already read that. I've stated this to so many of my friends and so many people I know. The reason why I love the Walking Dead TV show, actually, I think more than the book, is because it's so different. Um, I'm not one of those people who want the comics to be word for word adapted to the TV show. I'm just not. I think that that's a huge waste of time. There's so many people who people who don't even read comic books read The Walking Dead, and I agree with Robert Kirkman. That would just be no fun. I shouldn't be able to open my comic book and predict exactly what's going to happen, and you still can't, even though they picked Glenn. But I would have liked to see someone else, simply because it would have been more shocking to me. Even though the death was shocking, and I still think it was a phenomenal episode and better than issue 100. I think personally, I would have in a way liked to see something different. Especially considering we had the fake scare death earlier with Glenn under the dumpster. I don't know. I kind of think that they could have picked something else. But that being said, it doesn't matter. So other highlights, when Rick was going after the hatchet, they did such a cool scene where basically in his head he's thinking about what all could go on, and it shows every character getting beat with Negan's bat. This is what could happen if you disobey me. And what a cool scene, very emotionally packed, powerful, seeing all these characters getting whacked like that. It was just absolutely, positively nuts. What else? They bring him back. Rick's on his knees, and everyone puts a gun to his head and tells him, I gotta point this. I know I said I wouldn't walk you word for word, but I had to point this scene out because in the premiere, I've been staying away from spoilers very, very heavily. I stay away from spoilers for The Walking Dead because that's the fun of the show, is finding things out the night it airs. Points a gun to everyone's head, and he pulls Carl out. Negan does. Lays him down, draws on a marker. Kind of funny scene. He's like, hey, you got a marker? Yeah, I got a marker. Tosses it to him, lays Carl down, and marks on his arm, and is going to tell Rick to cut off his left arm. And Rick is just crying. This is the part where I was talking about that was kind of embarrassing. I mean, begging Negan to death. You can tell, fantastic acting from Andrew Lincoln as always. You can tell that he is so scared. He is scared to death. And he was going to cut off Carl's arm. And Carl told him to do it, but I kind of think that's going to be repercussions for Rick. I think that Carl and Rick are going to deal with some stuff from that moment, because even though Carl told him to do it, he still might be like, Dad, I can't believe you're going to do that, and kind of some mistrust going there, which will make for some interesting stuff. But Negan naturally stops him, like I knew he would. I didn't think he was going to cut off Carl's hand. I actually thought with the premiere that they were going to cut off Rick's hand. The governor chopped off Rick's right hand, the day he met him, when he met the governor, and I thought, judging off sneak peek, that he was going to, give me his hatchet. Oh, Rick might come back. And they definitely alluded to Negan cutting off Rick's hand. He cleaned it with alcohol. He kept slamming it on the table. Pretty much as soon as I saw that Negan didn't have anyone else with him, I was like, they're not going to cut off Rick's hand, because how is he going to hold Rick down? Like, no one's going to just stand there and let you chop off your hand. You need other people to hold him down. So they didn't do it. It kind of disappointed me a little bit, but I was also telling my friends I was pretty prepared for them not to do that. So it is what it is. I know that Robert Kirkman has said that he actually regrets cutting Rick's hand off. It's one of my favorite comics in the show. It's one of my favorite twists and shocking moments in the comic book. So I think it would really shock and be really interesting to see in the show. And I've always wanted it, but I just don't think we're gonna get it, at least anytime soon. Maybe since they alluded it so heavily, maybe Negan will do it because Rick double-crossed him again. But I don't think so. I think that I'll talk more about this in detail, but I think the rest of the season is going to be Rick kind of struggling and groveling because he's scared to death under Negan before the war eventually happens. Before all-out war eventually happens, which it's got to. And then, you get some pretty emotional stuff. Maggie didn't hit Rick. So far, she does not blame Rick like she did in the comic books, which would have made this episode so much more emotional, so much more impactful. But they decided not to do it, and I understand she's very sick in the show right now, so it would have been kind of unnatural for her to do that. So you can't fault the show for that. That's just good writing. So. But I don't think there's anything else to talk about other than this was a fantastic episode, my favorite episode of all time. You are going to regret. Man, I already forgot the episode title, but I want to say something about that. You're going to. Man, I can't remember. But basically, I said it in the beginning, so whatever. Jenner said that in the first episode of The Walking Dead, or the 6th episode of The Walking Dead to Rick. You're gonna regret, you're gonna, that one day's gonna happen when you wish you weren't alive, or something like that. That's not exactly what it says, and I know what it said. I know that's not what it is, but whatever. I'm making myself look like an idiot, but I think that's such a cool and terrifying throwback to that, and what a phenomenal episode, guys. Perfect 10 out of 10, as always, A+. I'm so happy The Walking Dead's back, and I can't wait to make more Walking Dead videos because this season's going to be absolutely crazy, guys. So, yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and upload this now, try to be one of the first videos for this review. So, alright, guys. If you want more Walking Dead content, subscribe. I apologize for a little bit of the shaky cam. I'm holding my camera right now because I don't have a tripod right now, unfortunately. Hopefully I'm gonna change that. Not hopefully, I will change that. We'll figure something out. So, and I also need to find out a better background. I got some Walking Dead posters. I got some Walking Dead pop figures. I got some action figures. I got some comics. Unfortunately, I don't read any of the single issues. I read the hardcovers. So, I do read the single issues, but I'm talking about I don't have a whole lot to display in terms of early issues. So, I read the singles digitally, and then I pick up the physical hardcovers. So, but anyway, expect more Walking Dead videos, guys. Had to wear that Walking Dead shirt. I got Taco Bell, don't worry about that. Had to wear that Walking Dead shirt. Fantastic premiere. Cannot express enough how excited I am that The Walking Dead's back. So that's it for now, guys. This is Tyler, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.